The Nigerian Human Rights Commission has reported that 58 people have been killed in political violence in the run-up to Nigeria's election, with rising hate speech between rival camps threatening to spark further unrest. According to the Commission's new report, if urgent steps are not taken to arrest further escalations, the Nigerian 2015 general elections would confront a high risk of significant violence. Welcome to this week's edition of Law Weekly. I'm Victoria Idowu. On the program today, we will be looking at the violence that disrupted the All Progressive Congress rally in Okrika, Rivers State, to imagine that the signing of a peace pact by political parties is now in fashion. So the question arises, how enforceable is a gentleman's agreement? But first, let's take some headlines.
The Federal High Court sitting in Oshogbo, Osun State capital, has dismissed an application filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) seeking a mandatory order of reversal of the National and State House of Assembly elections conducted by the umpire body INEC in Osun State in 2011. Justice Babs Kwewumi, while delivering his ruling, says the court has no jurisdiction to hear or rule on the suit, stating that only an election petition tribunal has the authority to hear any matter relating to elections. The People's Democratic Party is seeking, among other things, the reversal of the election, as well as the withdrawal of certificates of return to the winner of the 2011 elections conducted, which saw the opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, clearing all the seats to the National and State House of Assembly. The appeal court sitting in Abuja has thrown out the application filed by the All Progressives Congress challenging the decision of the tribunal which upheld the election of Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose. The court held that the appellant could not prove beyond reasonable doubt the allegations of forgery against the governor and how they were disenfranchised in the polls. The court ruled that there was no merit in the appeal and therefore struck it out. The court, however, took a swipe at the government for deploying men of the armed forces during the polls, an action it said was outside their constitutional role. The Lagos State Chief Judge, Justice Olufunmilayo Atilade, has asked the Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola to pay the January salary of the judiciary workers and the state. Justice Atilade pleaded with the governor to release the workers' salary, majorly because the workers had demonstrated maturity and understanding by calling off the strike while it was still in force in other states. She made this appeal at the commissioning and handing over of new courtrooms in Ikeja. However, Governor Babatunde Fashola, in his response, described the strike action as a sign of a failing state. He added that the strike was unfortunate and was not the right means of enforcing a court's judgment. Governor Fashola said that though the Constitution recognized the separation of powers between the three arms of government, yet the three arms must also work interdependently. Justice Oluwatoyin Ipaye of an Ikeja High Court will, on the 3rd of March, hear a case of attempted murder filed against 5 men who were accused of torturing 3 women by robbing pepper in their private parts and also manhandling them in Ejigbo, a suburb of Lagos State. The hearing was stalled owing to the absence of the accused persons in court. Given reasons for their absence, Lagos State Director of Public Prosecution told the court that all the defendants are on bail and had no idea that the matter would come up. The court ordered that all the accused should be duly informed and brought to court on the next adjourned date. The trial of Aminu Oguche and 6 others have been stalled following the absence of the court interpreter. Trial Judge Justice Ahmed Muhammad disclosed that the interpreter was on compassionate leave, and given that some of the accused persons do not speak English, it will be a breach of law and their fundamental human rights to go on with the case without the interpreter. Lawyers in the case all agreed with the trial judge, who subsequently adjourned the case to the 6th of March this year for arraignment and commencement of trial. He also made an order for accelerated hearing in the case. Aminu Oguche and 6 other persons are being accused of being the mastermind behind the twin bombings in Nyanya, Abuja. The African Bar Association has called on the federal government to help to recover the association's secretariat in Abuja. The interim president of the association, Mr. Hannibal Uwaifo, made this appeal when the association announced the constitution of an interim executive council for AFBA.
Yes, we actually
He affirmed that the federal military government took over the secretariat and promised to return it with certain payments several years ago. But the AFBA secretariat is presently being occupied by a government agency. He also sought the support of the Nigerian Bar Association.
It seems the various peace accords signed by political parties to ensure a peaceful election is not yielding any result. The planned rally by the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State was violently disrupted. The APC rally was ready to hold at the National Secondary School in Okrika, Rivers State. But according to our correspondent Charles Aruka, after 3 explosions and continuous gunfire, people ran for safety, bringing the rally to an abrupt end shortly after it started. My guest on the program, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Paul Ananaba, discusses with me on the enforcement of the peace pact signed by political parties. Is it enforceable or not? Let's take a listen.
At first I thought it was, just scaring people away. And when it got to a point that there were explosives going off, and then later shootings, I was really concerned because it's a dangerous dimension in the entire process. Yes, there's been some issues leading up to that, but they have not got to a point where people go for electioneering campaign and then there's real threats, imminence of deaths and violence and wounding. And the report we've got is correct. At least a policeman died and all that. If we are in a country where things are done properly, there will be no issue of trading blames. Within 24 hours, the relevant government agencies would have given us facts and figures as to what happened. I understand that the party that was holding the campaign and all that had applied to relevant authorities, and it was approved for them. And then security agencies were sent. I mean, when you are going for such an event and the state provides security, they provide security not just in the immediate environment, but within that area. One of the first things I thought would have happened was that we would have been told how many people were arrested as a result of what happened. There would have been CCTVs or some form of ICT support, backup, that will show where the shooting came from, who shot, and in what direction. When those are not there, people are left with conjecture, and anything else goes. I don't think that it will be right to be specific to say it is the police, it is this organization or this person or that group or that party or that. No, that would be very wrong. I expect that within 1 week the police would have addressed the country and said, this is what happened in Okrika. Because if nothing serious is done, people think that you can just do things and get away in this country. No, there is law and order. They should restore confidence in the people, and so that anybody that does anything wrong in this country will know that within few hours you are already in the police net and you are prosecuted.
The peace pact that is signed, it has almost become a fashion. Each state now have started signing this peace pact. Does it really work?
I used to tell people that it is those who made P7 in English that knows the value of C6. C6 is credit in English. The difference is a few marks. If after signing peace pacts and we have this happening, what would have happened if there were no peace pacts? So I don't buy the issue of that peace pact. The peace pacts have helped in a lot of ways that we may not scientifically prove. But the point I'm making is the peace pacts are signed between the contestants, not between their followers. Because most of these things are done by followers. And once elections come like this, people who perceive that if they are more visible, they'll be given higher positions or how they get certain things, will want to misbehave on behalf of candidates. And many times that's what you see.
It's a gentleman's agreement, yes, but is it enforceable in the courts of law?
No, these are gentlemen agreements. They are gentlemen agreements. But beyond the peace pacts, remember, there is still law and order. The peace pacts are just a further commitment, individual commitment, on behalf of some unknown groups sometimes, to say, look, this is what the law is, that this election should be held in a violence-free manner. I am saying I am committed to it. I will do everything within my powers to ensure that the elections are conducted in a violence-free manner. That's what it's all about.
But
peace pact or no peace pact, any person that contravenes the law should be prosecuted. And that's why I feel that INEC should take the issue of prosecution of election offenders very seriously.